I'd like to call this Special Services Committee meeting to order at 6:05. First item on the agenda is approval of January 21st, 2021 Special Services minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So moved. Second item is enrollment data. Dr. McDonald?
You have the enrollment data in your packet, and one of the things, Mr. Watson, that you had asked to look at were the number of students that were moving in between. So I do have that information for you as a separate packet, but I can tell you that we've moved since February. From remote to traditional, we've moved 52 students, and from traditional to remote, we've moved 58 students. And we've had, look at my total for the number of homeschool students. I don't have the homeschool students. Mrs. Perkins, do you happen to remember how many homeschool students we had that had moved recently? We're up to 170, around 170. We'll get that number for you. And if there's any questions that you had about, if you want to see this packet, I can give this to you. And if there's any questions about student enrollment, I'm happy to answer that for you.
Any questions? Mr. Kamiri?
Of the transfers in February, were they able to stay within their schools, if you will?
Yes,
Assigned schools that they would have been at?
I don't have, we do have students that are assigned to other schools outside of their area where they would have been, but I don't have that information. I
Okay.
can tell you how many students have moved in the schools, but I don't know where their homeschool was. And then over the summer, we have them, it's called the summer move. They'll all move back to their regular homeschools in the summertime. And we don't have any students on any waiting list at all at the elementary level. At the middle school, there's a few students that are on a wait list, either get in or get out. So I talked with Mr. Houghton about that, and it's not about space. It's about working with the parents to see what's best. Their children aren't necessarily moving because they're nervous about COVID. They're moving because they're having attendance issues. And so if we go remote, then no one's tracking my attendance, but we are. So he's working with those families individually.
Yeah, Mr. Watson?
I just saw this story a few minutes before I left. Governor Sununu said all school districts are going to be required to have in-person learning at least 2 days a week. Does that apply to our students that are full-time remote now? Would they be required to come?
No, because it's their choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually so that we're offering school at least twice a week, which we are. There's also an education rule that says we're required to offer a remote option to students that want that as well. So we're meeting both the executive order and the education rule.
Any other questions or comments about enrollment? Okay, thank you. Item number 3 is bus data.
So our buses, we have some buses that are starting to fill up a little bit. Mrs. Perkins and I are actually just talking about that. We're watching bus 11 in the elementary school route and buses 7 and 8 on the high school, middle school routes. Right now we're looking, they are two students to a seat on the full bus, so we'll have to, we don't have any more buses and we don't have any more bus drivers. So we'll have to figure out how to accommodate any more students that ride the bus. We have 8 more students that will be coming back to traditional school right now in March. I'm sure that number will increase, and as those numbers go up, so does ridership. So we'll be working with our bus company to find a solution for that.
And I have one question. Can you remind us what the yellow and the green highlight is?
I cannot, but I can find out. I actually have asked that question, and I don't know what that is. So I will find out and let you know.
Thank you. I was just curious. The green highlights on the middle school, high school route, and yellow for the elementary. Thank you. Any other questions or comments about bus data? There being none, we'll move on to item 4, fiscal year 2022 budget review. Mrs. Bartlett?
If you take a look into your books here, this area of the budget is increasing by $103,962 or 4.6%. A majority of it, or actually all of it, is in transportation, which is based on our current contracts with STA and Durham. STA's contract does not end until fiscal year '24. Next year's contract is going up 3.75, but then the next 2 years is going up 2.5. It's an extension that we had signed probably about a year and a half ago or so. And then Durham contract for special ed ends in fiscal year '23. So other than that, the rest of the areas are all level funded.
Does anyone have any questions?
I assume we're
Mr.
going to
Pappas.
bring this back up in another month, with more discussion, right? So we're just sort of
An overview.
reviewing right now and then maybe make some suggestions in a month, if we have any.
March 25th is the deadline to send out the budget to the city manager.
Okay.
So I don't know when the next special services
We'll
meeting
have
would
one
be.
meeting before that.
Okay, thank you.
I'd be ready to send this, is it finance or to finance? It's a flat budget except for the buses, which we're contractually obligated to, so I don't really see any place to cut there. So I'll make a motion to send this to the finance committee.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5 is the 5-year plan. We'll have the special ed update at our next month's or
At our
2
next
months?
month's meeting.
Next month's meeting. Item 6 is public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address the committee? Okay. There being none, we'll close public comment. Item 7, anything under other? Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion for adjournment?
So, second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's it, thank you.